Creed 3 is finally here.
But Rocky isn't.
I'm just getting started, little brother.
I had to draw the line between my brothers and my enemies.
Christian, what did you think of Creed 3?
I really enjoyed it. The first one is the best of the three, and then this one is right behind it. Like, I thought it was very, very good.
I do think I would give the edge to 3,
Mhm.
mostly just because Johnathan Majors is amazing in this movie, and they could have given him even more to do, I think.
Yeah.
But when he's on screen and he's doing the villainy thing, prime time.
Oh yeah,
I'm coming for everything.
at least they have given him something to do. Unlike a previous movie that we recently reviewed, which he was the best part of. The movie is very much his, but it's also very much Michael B. Jordan's, his directorial debut. I thought he did a really good job with it, considering he's never made a movie before. It worked. It worked as an entry in the Creed Rocky series, and it was just really satisfying.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
really got to flex his muscles, but also directing muscles.
Yes.
Yeah. There were some shots and
Correct.
some sequences where I was just like turning to Christian. I'm like, he's eating right now. he's going nuts on this. Like, some people might act like certain parts of it were overdone, which I could see the argument, but I thought it all worked with the themes of the
I did
movie
too.
and the visuals really
Mhm.
added to it. It was pretty impressive for a
Mhm.
first-time director. What I liked about him directing this movie, if Stallone wasn't going to be in it, if Stallone wasn't going to direct it, if Ryan Coogler wasn't going to direct it, then I thought it was a really cool thing to have Michael B. Jordan direct it, because
Mhm.
it was kind of a nod to Stallone doing it for most of them. I thought that was really nice. Did miss Stallone in this movie. I did miss Rocky in this movie, but I did read Stallone's interview, and at first I was kind of disappointed, but then I read it again, and I kind of realized what he was actually saying was, yeah, if I was going to be in this movie, I was just going to be like, hey, Creed, spit, you gotta spit, you gotta keep going. So
Mhm.
basically, he just didn't really see a role in there for him. Kind of thought he was just going to be like extra scenery based
Mhm.
on the way that Michael B. Jordan and Coogler wanted to go with this whole Johnathan Majors storyline and everything. He was kind of like, I'll sit this one out. Maybe I'll come back later. But also, he's going on with that whole rights thing with the Rocky franchise, which
Yeah.
is sad. But hopefully, he is back later. But either way, this movie works perfectly well without him.
I found the story that Michael B. Jordan was telling compelling without him. Why I like this movie so much is that it does feel a bit different. I liked both the hero and the villain. But I mean, like, when the villain is at his worst, you're kind of like, tough beat. Because the story characters are so well established and developed by that point that you're just kind of like, this guy was dealt a shitty hand, but it's, yeah, I don't know, you have to see it.
It's so good in this movie, and just the fact that he looks the way he does in this movie is half of the performance, and not in a bad way. Because yeah, you want to work out after you see this movie, and I think that is the vibe that you want in a Creed movie.
Sure is.
Even without Rocky and Stallone, there's still a couple nice little Rocky ode details thrown in there that I thought were pretty cool for what they are. They don't really bring up Rocky, which I understand because of the whole weirdness about it, but they do kind of reference the whole reason that this fight kind of ends up happening is he's able to convincingly sell you on the fact that, hey, Apollo gave Rocky a chance. This is kind of the reverse of that in a way.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. If you're going to keep making these movies, have like these flips on it and stuff. And the fact that it flipped on something that technically happened already, but did it in such a different way, but also similar. I thought it was great, and I really liked the vibe of it. Also, little details like Victor Drago from the last movie coming in and helping him train and being his like Johnathan Majors double completely makes sense in justifying in the boxing world, where it's like, hey, who's the biggest guy I know that I could legitimately convince to come in here and that I'm friendly with enough to where he would do this for me. And I thought that was just really cool, and it helps pay off some of the Creed 2 ending a little bit too, to where he's connected in the story still.
For sure.
A lot of little details like that where I think if you are a Rocky fan, you will like this movie even though Rocky is not in the movie, because I think that you could tell that these people genuinely are Rocky fans and they do care about this world.
Like the first two Creed movies, definitely a part of the Rocky verse. It has now started its own
Creed verse.
Yeah. And I found like all the emotional stuff in this movie really effective. There's moments and there's great acting. Tessa Thompson, Bianca, Creed's wife, Felicia Rashad as his mother. It's a damn good movie. It gives you everything you want. By the time it sets up the final fight it's like, who isn't exhilarated?
Are you not entertained?
I don't give a damn about sports, but like, how can you not be compelled? I don't know.
A lot of times what these Creed Rocky movies come down to is there a montage and is it good? And when this montage happens, you're like, hell yeah, let's get to the fight. I'm literally going to watch this movie a lot more times.
It sells it.
Once it hits. And you're going duality, kind of Rocky Ford-esque a little bit, where it's like, here's the bad guy, and then here's the good guy, and they're both like their shirts off, and they're just doing their own shit, working out differently, and do some pretty impressive feats. Like, I think Michael B. Jordan pulls a jetliner or whatever, some sort of plane.
Shortly before the training montage came up, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna do the thing where they push like the tractor tires.
So, yeah,
and they did that.
Yeah,
they did it. They even tried a trick in the final fight, a visual thing that I really curious to see what people make of it. What did you think of that? Did you like it?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was referencing earlier. Like, I feel like some people might complain about maybe it was overdone or something.
Okay.
But I think it worked.
I thought it worked. I thought it worked because I was invested in the characters and their past and their history.
The only thing I didn't like about it, when they were in the gimmick, they kind of immediately cut away, and then you're like, oh, 9 rounds have passed. When in reality, it was like just a quick thing.
Good point.
But done really well. But like, I feel like if it was just like cut in and out a little bit more, and you got to see a little bit more of the 9 rounds in between, it would have worked better. It's weird because this movie is like 1 hour 57, and the other Creed movies are like 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I feel like they could have really just added a little bit more to the end fight, because it's like that's what we were all waiting for.
We were, yeah.
It's a great fight, and they have some great choreography and some great little directing, visuals, camera tricks, and things like that. But yeah, I just really wanted to see the grind between rounds 3 through 11. So I kind of missed that, but it's what you paid to see, and it was a very good payoff, and all the drama and stuff in between is like the great acting and everything that makes the fight work, because you actually care what happens, even though you think you probably know what's going to happen. But the way they pull it off is very entertaining to watch, and I definitely will watch this movie again several times, I imagine.
So will I. And honestly, I think you could make one of these like every 3 years or so, and who the hell would give a damn? Like, I mean, I'm in more.
Creed 3, pretty obvious that we loved it. My rating would be a 9 out of 10. I will be upfront and honest with you and say that 90% of the Rocky movies, I have at least a 9 out of 10. So it's not a real crazy thing, but yeah, I think this movie is really well done, and you should 100% go see it in theaters if you care about Rocky or boxing or fighting or sports movies, or Johnathan Majors' ability to look really cool and badass at all.
I also give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's the best movie of the year so far. I mean, the year is young.
Agreed.
But I mean, it's really, really enjoyable.
What did you think of Creed 3? Have you seen Creed 3? Do you plan on seeing Creed 3? Let us know in the comments below. Hit the like. If you want to see more content from us, hit the subscribe button. We will post new videos and those updates. That's how that works. Also, check out the older videos. They're cool too. If you see something that strikes you in a thumbnail, check it out. That was a movie, Creed 3. Can't wait for the next one.
3 years ago.